This is Global CEO Magazine, where we bring you in-depth, productive conversations with leaders who drive change across industries. Joining us in conversation today is a leader whose career spans more than 3 decades in the banking and financial sector. So we are joined by the chairman of Bank of Ceylon, Mr. Kavinda de Zoysa. Thank you very much for joining us here today, Mr. de Zoysa. It's a pleasure to have a conversation with you. So you have an impressive career built for more than 30 years in the banking and financial sector. So will you be able to walk us through some of your key milestones that shaped who you are today?
Yes, thank you Nadi, and thank you for the channel to having me here today. Deeply honored. So I think it's been a long time, and one of the advantages for me, especially reaching out to school children as well, was I started my career straight from 18 years. So I completed my A-levels, and before my results came, I started my banking career. And since then, I have never looked back and continued to work where I am employed and give my best to the organization. So a few key points in my career, and the first one is actually I met my wife long time back, and it was she who got me into being a bit more focused on studies. I was more into sports and other activities in school, taking part at national level in sport, and I was focused on going in that route. But then once I joined Ceylon Bank, I realized that education, hard work, focus gave an opportunity, and without a clear understanding initially, I realized the power of education and knowledge, and what I did was I continued to invest myself in studies. So I started off while working my banking studies, and it gave me a solid input from trade finance to bill of exchange to basics in banking, and getting through those exams also accelerated my promotional prospects. So I got through promoted quite fast. And my work was also very focused, so it's not about just about the education or the qualifications. You have to practically apply what you study, and that knowledge kept on building momentum. And then I was able to get across multiple sectors and different banks, and over the last 32 years I worked both in local banks, and as most of you know, I worked in a foreign bank before joining Bank of Ceylon, almost 2 decades. But what many people don't know is I've been able to get more experiences in the retail and other segments, which I'm sure you'll cover in your follow-on questions. But if you look at the key milestones, I think I'm a naturally born leader. It's my personality. And moving from one organization to the other, continuing to invest in education, I had a view of where I wanted to get. So starting from banking to CIM to CIMA to my MBA at the Colombo University, being very focused and using that knowledge in the practical work environment really helped. So I feel moving from just being a banker, doing my MBA at Colombo University also enhanced my entire way of looking things, because once you get into a general MBA, it opens up your mindset to look at different career opportunities. So you remember, keep in mind, when you're 18, when you join, you feel it's one area and you have a certain view, but when you qualify, you see other areas. And then another pivotal moment was also doing CIMA, so being a management accountant and looking at things from a management accounting related perspective also gave a lot of deep insights. And as you know, I did CIM, so combining a marketing view and a management accounting view gives a well-rounded exposure. I give it as an example like the Chinese yin yang. You have to have a balance. So you need to be a marketeer, but you also need to know the numbers, and you need to know the numbers, but you also have to be a marketeer. So maybe I feel some of these things really gave me an opportunity to take up challenges and perform and execute well. So apart from my key milestones and leadership outlook, I also want to place on record my special thanks to someone. I want to thank Nishani, my wife, who's been with me right throughout and giving me that insight and strength to continue to do what I am doing, and also to my son. So I think it's not easy to balance family and work, but they have stood by my side, and they have championed me through good times and tough times. So I just want to appreciate all the support and affection that they have given to me.
Sri Lanka is going through quite a tough time these days after the pandemic with the economic crisis. So, as the visionary leader at the helm of Sri Lanka's largest commercial bank, you have to make sure that you keep up with these challenges and changes. So, how do you perceive your role in navigating Bank of Ceylon through this very challenging, transformative, complex time?
Yes. So I take it with a very deep sense of responsibility and humility. As you rightly said, this is the largest bank in Sri Lanka, and the entire nation being systemically important depends so much on how Bank of Ceylon supports the economy. And I think what I see is actually opportunity. We had a crisis. We had couple of challenges, from the Easter Sunday to the economic crisis to COVID. But post-crisis, we were at a position where we couldn't fall any further. I always keep saying, now it's the way up. And if you see over the last 12 months, last 18 months, it's been a recovery drive, and Bank of Ceylon has played a pivotal role. So I think primarily driving digitization, enabling our people, financial inclusion, financial literacy, responsible finance. Because being the chairman and the board of directors have to give guidance and views to the management who run the day-to-day operations of the bank. And as you see and as you have read in the press, the bank has done very well over the last 12 to 18 months, emerging as the most profitable institution, and also doing a very lead role in supporting SME and development banking related areas. It's driving a future fit, future ready organization, investing in technology, investing in people, managing stakeholders, giving the right corporate governance for the board and also to the institution. I think these are the key strategic points for us at the board, and enabling our people to do their job better.
Bank of Ceylon has spread its roots and branches locally as well as internationally, and that means Bank of Ceylon contributes massively to Sri Lanka's economy. So how do you plan on deepening BOC's impact on Sri Lanka?
Yes, so if you take, many people know, but I always try to let the message go more. The work already done by Bank of Ceylon has been phenomenal. The staff have worked tirelessly to bring in SME, development banking, financial inclusion. So we touch on national development and financial inclusion as priorities. One example is Aswasuma. And I'm happy to say Bank of Ceylon is leading this entire project, where we have a majority share of all the Aswasuma accounts, where we have opened accounts for these people who have never had a bank account ever, bringing them into the banking system and also giving them a debit card free of charge by the bank. It's the first step for them to get into digitization. You know, as a country, our priority is to digitize the country. So bringing people into the system, giving them that first step of a debit card and getting them to use ATMs, teaching them the savings habit, I think these are all very key roles in part of the national development. A lot of people talk about lending, but also the habit of saving. Today we are happy to say even the people who are drawing Aswasuma are saving something. So I think that's a great example of what Bank of Ceylon has done. And our SME portfolio and our development banking work that we have done, I think is industry leading, because in Sri Lanka we don't have a development bank, and the existing commercial banks are the people who are doing the development banking. And Bank of Ceylon has taken part in very strategic projects from many industries. I will take another day to explain the industries, but at a macro level, supporting infrastructure, key growth areas, all of these things are enabling. I mean, we are very focused in helping industries which are developing import substitution. Imagine we spend millions of dollars to bring in certain, let's say, what type of equipment or raw material or processing. If that can be done in Sri Lanka, that also helps to save foreign exchange outflow. So I think Bank of Ceylon continues to be in a very strong focus on SME, national development, financial inclusion, financial literacy, and we are happy to lead the way. And also in development is called revival. The economy is picking up, and those businesses that had a difficult time, Bank of Ceylon has continued to support them and give them that opportunity to revive and come up. So in the last 12 months, we have seen certain businesses doing absolutely well. And as we talk, our business revival unit is engaging so many clients and giving them that chance to get back into strong business. So I think that's also a national role that I think Bank of Ceylon is leading at an industry benchmark which others are also following.
As a large organization in Sri Lanka, there is also a responsibility to bring up other smaller organizations, which definitely impacts greatly on the Sri Lankan economy. And what you said about helping small scale enterprises and even Asvasuma itself is a testament to the massive impact that BOC is making on Sri Lanka. So thank you very much for that. Then moving on to my next question, you have a vast experience spanning investment banking, capital markets and mergers and acquisitions. So how do you really apply this experience in guiding, in directing BOC?
So first, I must say we have a very talented and experienced team. I am very happy to say the entire corporate management and the executive management are multidisciplined. They are all having very good degrees and with classes, and their experience and knowledge helps my life easier and for the board as well, because we all understand what we are talking. That itself is easy for us to move things forward faster. And then I think one of the main things that I get is I always get people to think outside the box. And when I say outside the box, it's not about shortcuts or doing things in a fast way. I continue, and the board continues to give insights. We have to have the highest level of ethics, highest level of governance, and then around that we get people to think. And I think one of my strengths has always been to get ideas from people. It's also listening to people. Over the last so many months, I've spent a lot of time talking to people, listening to people, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes the best ideas come from the very outstation branches or a staff member who's at a counter who can give that idea. I can relate to them because in my career I have done that job. So sometimes they find it when I go and ask, what's your time, what do you do? I might just go in as a customer and ask what's happening. And I think those are the type of communication skills and integration. Part of leadership is getting people to also give their ideas. We have to show that. And then obviously, as you rightly said, I continue to be engaged in global bodies. So my knowledge, whether it's being on the Global Council of CIMA in the UK or taking part in other global training programs, I try to bring that knowledge and share it with the people. And to some extent, that's original thinking. And you have to bring something that is of value to every member, and then they can engage using that to create opportunities. And then over the last couple of decades, my knowledge on investment banking, development banking, capital markets, M&A, structuring, risk management, corporate governance, it helps. As you know, I am the chairman of Bank of Ceylon, UK, and that means the bank is regulated by the Bank of England. So I need to ensure and comply to all those regulations. There is a lot of good practice and good governance that comes in, and I'm happy to share that with our team as well. So bringing global best practices, putting it to our system, and our people, giving them the ability to learn and execute on that is also an advantage for me, which I feel is very fulfilling.
And like they say, when you're a leader, you have to be smart, but you have to surround yourself with even smarter people. So although even if you have a smart, capable team, sometimes you face challenges. So what are some of the biggest challenges faced by BOC, and how do you plan to navigate them?
I think the key thing is navigating economic uncertainty. Whether it's US tariffs, which is a very hot topic that's happening, and then ensuring business continuity in various patterns. Because remember, Bank of Ceylon is a large institution, so even the weather could impact the agriculture, or some other factors could impact. So there are multiple areas that we have to balance and give guidance to our team and leadership. Then creating a good corporate governance, risk management, transparency, and having the latest systems. So we continue to invest in the systems. As you know, 3 years back, when the crisis hit, all across Sri Lanka, many people had to pause their investments. Whether it's technology, whether it's people, whether it's marketing, most of these had to be slowed down. So now we are accelerating those investments. So we are focused on bringing the latest systems, investing in people. So those are areas which we are prioritizing, and also getting all our stakeholders to understand the broader role of Bank of Ceylon. Engaging multiple stakeholders is critical, and in these stakeholders we have to engage and partner our staff, our workforce, our unions, the regulator, our Ministry of Finance, which is the shareholder. Getting all of them to get these perspectives and creating that balance is critical for the board, and we as a board are continuing to focus on giving priority to that.
Absolutely, and since you are surrounded by a very capable team, I'm sure you will be able to face these challenges head on and very successfully. So you have been involved in the formation and merger of major banks in Sri Lanka. So how does this experience influence your vision, your direction for BOC?
Yeah, at a very young age, I was able to get this opportunity, and I think fundamentally it boils down to something I believe, and that is culture. Integrating culture is the most difficult thing. I think empirical evidence and theoretical observations will say that aligning cultures are difficult, but people have to actually go through it to realize what that means. So especially when you merge two banks, the two distinct institutions have two distinct cultures, and then bringing them together and bringing the best out of it and getting them to work. So again, I like to talk about, when you have a team, you have to, the concept of forming, storming, norming and conforming. That's generally what you learn in your MBA or your management studies. So forming and storming, those stages are very frictional points, but then people start to perform and conform. Getting them to come to that is the critical point. Then everyone works together having an alignment. So at an early stage, getting that experience really helped me to understand a theoretical perspective in an actual practical sense. And believe me, sometimes it's not easy, it takes time, and we need to have very intelligent conversations and hard work to bring them together. And then I was involved in another bank, which is also a private bank, which is doing quite well. From scratch and concept, working with external strategic consultants to the board of directors and the chairman of that bank, and creating a visualization, working with the regulator in terms of a roadmap on the expansion, and then bringing in at that time new concepts which was not in Sri Lanka, but now people see as a very, supermarket banking was not a known thing in the 90s. So bringing things like that was exceptional. And I think banking continues to evolve, and one thing that's core to my heart is customer service. It's a very simple thing, but one of the most difficult things to do. And we at Bank of Ceylon, myself and the board of directors, continue to give that as a strategic area for the management to focus on.
Amazing. So how would you describe your leadership style? Because ultimately leadership comes down to one's personal style and values, right? And if you can also talk to us a little bit about the core values that you abide by, that would be wonderful.
So interestingly, the leadership style, generally in the books what's written is, it's the other people who see my style. So maybe they may have different views, but I am generally a very collaborative person, and I generally like to be responsible in terms of the things that we do. And see, when things are good, there are a lot of people to raise the hand and take the credit. But when things are bad, a lot of people will try to avoid that, saying it's not my issue or not. But I think one of the things that as a leader, and I'm so happy that the board of directors are there with me, we always, give that comfort to the management. We want to show that we work together as a team. We collaborate, we lead, we get outside the box thinking, and when things go good, we will always give that credit to that relevant person. And when things don't go as good or as planned, we will then take collective responsibility, even to things which we were not there even. But it's important that we have that leadership style. And I also have a tendency which my my colleagues who work with me over the years keep saying is, I generally tend to pick people. I am a person who believes in people, and picking and identifying talent early, grooming and investing them and giving that opportunity has, I've seen so many good results, and it's something very fulfilling for me as well. And then my leadership style, I'm very, very strong on corporate governance and ethics. There is no compromise on that. That has to be. And I think leading by example is very important. So I think teamwork continues to be critical for me. I really value team excellence versus individual brilliance. Bringing these two and having the right balance is critical for a leader and for an organization. So it's a mix of all this that I said, and I continue to encourage people to give ideas.
That's absolutely amazing. And I think a lot of people get confused. Something that a lot of people get confused about is they confuse a boss with a leader, where the boss says go, the leader says let's go or follow me. And from what you said, it's very evident that as a leader, you not only have to focus on leading the organization, but you also have to focus on building the next generation of leaders who is going to take up the role once you have gone out of the organization. So that's absolutely amazing. I love the point that you brought out. Then as my next question, when we talk about continuous learning, it's something that keeps leaders ahead, especially in a very challenging and competitive sector such as the banking and finance sector. So what is your view on continuous learning?
Yeah. So I believe very passionately on continuous learning. If you take my entire life, each decade I am happy to say I have sat for an exam and done an exam and passed an exam. So it doesn't mean you pass exams all the time. In my career I have failed exams as well. But really investing in yourself, CPD, continuous professional development. So we continue to individuals have to invest in themselves. And if you say I have the knowledge, I know everything, I think actually that's the negative commencing of a deterioration of a person. We have to be hungry to get knowledge and continue to invest in ourselves. So I think continuous investments, if you take me, my fellowships in banking, management accounting, marketing, and continuing to look at investment analysis. Very recently I did a very interesting study on data driven decision making by the University of Chicago Booth Business School, and it gave me a new perspective. So while I have traditionally done all my studies, I wanted to study because people talk about data analytics, and I wanted to learn it. And having gone through it and coming out of it, I have got a new set of skills which I thought would not have helped me. So this new skill set helps me now, because decision making, data driven decision making gives you logical thinking and inputs to make correct decisions. In the past you would have taken an emotional decision just because based on an emotional situation, but data driven decision making is, I think, one of the key insights in the future, and now that people should use. So continuing to invest in yourself and professional development is critical.
And I've seen many even university students or students who are just after A levels saying, I'm done studying, I'm never going to study or learn again. So it doesn't really have to be in the form of a strict course or a program. You can even, when you go through your day-to-day life, you can learn something which will help you inch closer towards your goals. Now, moving on to my next question. What are some of the biggest opportunities that are there for Sri Lankan banks in your opinion, even Bank of Ceylon?
Yes, so I think number one is acceleration of the digitization. There is immense potential in that area, and I think we are still at the very early stages of it. And as the country continues to digitize, the banking system integrating into the digital ecosystem gives a very pivotal opportunities. The other one I think is, a lot of people talk about SME, but outside the western province or maybe one or two other provinces, there's immense opportunity on SME and microfinance, especially for the banking sector. I think some of the NBFIs have gone into it, but there is tremendous opportunity there. And we touched, I think, development banking opportunities are there, but it has to have a skill set, and also it needs structural support. For example, long-term refinance lines and skilled expertise. So those are areas which I think are giving opportunities. The focus on ESG continues to be very strong, and we've seen a few ESG related bonds that have come out into the market. And then when I touch the market, the capital market has tremendous opportunities. So the capital market instruments are yet to be tapped and creating more depth to the market. So capital markets, development banking, SME, ESG related financing opportunities, and financial inclusion, financial literacy. All of those things will play a very strong role in terms of opportunities for banks in the future. And I think at a more strategic level, there could be banking sector consolidation as well.
Now, moving on to my final question, which is also one of the most interesting questions. What is your advice to emerging leaders or young professionals who aspire to have a very successful career in the banking and finance sector?
Okay, so I think number one, you need to be hungry. You need to continue to invest in yourself. And when I say hungry, you need to read, you need to invest, you need to go out to the world, take part in global forums, bring best practices, learn and continue to reinvent yourself. If you feel you have the skill set, no way. You have to be future ready, future fit, and that means you have to acquire new skill sets which were not there before. Take 10 years ago, did we have a thing called a chief digital officer? Did we have AI? Not many people knew that just 10 years back. But today, that's mainstream. So there are requirements and skill sets that have to come out, and people have to gather that. And then fundamentally, ethics, behavior, corporate governance, that has to be a pillar where there cannot be any compromise, especially for the young people. A lot of people talk about shortcuts, whatever way, but shortcuts are just shortcuts. Sometimes it can just give you a very short period. So you need to dig deep. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have patience, I think, and continuously invest. And you need to move out of your comfort zones. I took a big decision. I was at the peak of my career in an international bank, doing quite well. And then when this opportunity came, I realized, it's about knowledge and experience. I will share an example. Look it up. At the peak of his career, Tiger Woods changed his swing, right? At the peak. And with that, he actually didn't win many tournaments and fell. So a lot of people thought, that's his end. But then, with that change, he actually performed better than his existing earlier trajectory. So I think being comfortable to take very outside the box thinking, being able to take challenges head on, having patience in yourself, continuing to invest in yourself, and also you need to continue to network with people in a very genuine way. We touched on leadership. You talked about being a manager and a leader. One of the points I always say is a successful leader is a successful leader when the staff that work for him will look him up and talk to him in the same way when he's not doing that job. That way you will realize whether they actually had some level of acceptance of the leadership. So these things go long and deep. And I think Sri Lanka needs leaders. When I talk to young university graduates, I get a lot of experience at the university system taking part in these children, and them wanting to run their own business is interesting. A few generations back, people wanted to be having employment. But this generation, especially the Gen Zs, majority of them say, I want to run my own business. So entrepreneurship skills and education relating to entrepreneurship skills are opportunities for the younger generation. And I think always be optimistic. You have to be optimistic. I'm a person who sees the glass as half full, and that's my leadership style. We have to show people that, we are on the right trajectory. We have to be genuine as well. So if it's not good, we have to tell them the truth. But also, we have to give that energy to people. So I believe in those things. So these are some of my thoughts to the younger generation.
Yes, and on this topic, I think we can go on and on and on. But due to time constraints, unfortunately, we have to wrap up the conversation. So that brings us to the end of our conversation here today. Thank you very much, Mr. De Zoysa, for sharing those valuable thoughts and perspectives with us, and all the very best with everything.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate the time and having me. And as you know, these are my personal views, not the institution, but deeply honored, and thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you. So to all of our viewers, we hope you learned something valuable from this wonderful conversation that will help you move closer and closer towards your goals and targets. Stay tuned for more exclusive conversations like this. This is Global CEO Magazine.